Hi, I'm Andrew Tan. This video I'm gonna make just a short one on the AWS projects. This one just a bare bone gateway, a bunch of Lambda, and persist to and retrieve from Dynamo. I work on a much bigger project that has Cognito, SNS, SQS, and of course step functions, Lambda, and all the other database. But yeah, I can't show that because it's proprietary. But this just enough to demonstrate the bare bone, the stack, and how everything is put together. And I'm going to do some live coding also. So let's see. Let me show you here. So right here, we're gonna persist a to-do task list. So right here, then which basically would hit the gateway. Everything's gonna be the serverless. So everything's gonna work off the stack. So it's gonna be work off of the serverless YAML. From there, the stack is going to be deployed, and then it's going to build onto AWS. I'm going to show you the dashboard AWS in a little bit. So it has all this stuff, the gateway, the Lambda, and Dynamos, and deploy the front end to the buckets and all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna run the. I already just now created a post. So right here, a post. So create a task and persist the database already. So I'm gonna show you that, and then I'm gonna live coding the get all part. So here is my Dynamo current task. Here is the create task that I just wrote, and also you always have to have serverless the stack here YAML. The YAML, you can tell, is using version 4, no 18s, or the IMS permission. Here you can actually have a policy for it also, and the table names are here. Okay, so I already create the this function, the YAML function, Lambda create task right here. So right here is and then down here I'm going to create some more live coding here. So this one create task has already been written. I tested out. Basically it's right here. So it's basically you set up the to-do table, and then so this is just a Dynamo put. So this is what you have. Later when I'm doing a get all, I'm going to use a Dynamo scan. So that's the utility function that's available. And then once it's complete the post, so this is what it's gonna the payload. It's gonna put in the UID and the title of from the form for you input from the form, and whether the task has been done or not, and the timestamp. And then it's gonna after it has put in, it's gonna respond 200, and then the data item, which is right here, stringify it and send it back in the body. So that is the post. So let's go ahead and let's create the right here. So let's go ahead and create the list. So basically, list is to get all the tasks. So this is how you do it. So I copy that, and I'm changing it so it's quicker. So create task is a post. This is the file and the method. The path is what you put in the URL. So in right here. So right here is the create task is the path. So right here I'm going to have the list task. Okay, so That's what the list task right here is. So if you want something XYZ, you put XYZ, and over here will be XYZ. So list task makes sense. So we use list task. This is a get, because getting all the tasks is a get, and course is true. So because we don't want we allow cross origin. Okay, so now we're gonna have to write the create task here. So I'm gonna clone this task, paste, and then call list task. So this is the Lambda itself. Like I mentioned earlier, instead of put, I'm going to do a scan. Alright, so let's clean this up. So this is list task now. It's not create task. I don't need the UID because I'm just grabbing it. So it's going to be called a list task. So this is the name of the Lambda. Alright, so date and time. I don't need that date and time anymore. And I don't need any of these anymore. Practically the only thing I'm grabbing back so I don't dictate what it looks like. Alright, so this is a param is the only thing I need. So instead of put, I'm grabbing it, so that's a scan. And you can query for a list of API available. So scan is to retrieve other item in the table is what I'm gonna use. Yeah, but you have other ones available. Yeah, Dynamo. Okay. So that's it. You were telling it to scan for all the items. So it's not really very efficient. It's not really a query right now. So I'm just displaying everything, and then return the items. Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, so we're gonna compile it. So this is not the front end yet. This is just the back end. And then gonna deploy it. Because it's deploying this stack right here, so that's what it's doing. So it's gonna deploy all this. Yeah, we can do this. So you can see it generates tons of deployment. What it's doing is building. It goes in and remove everything and rebuilding the whole stack. So what you have is gonna build the for each function. So Lambda has a bunch of function here. So for the get, so it's gonna go in and building this layer, and also the gateway that was shown earlier. So and then it's gonna also Dynamo, set up the Dynamo tables. Okay. And then set up the buckets. The front end, I'm going to put the code in the front end bucket right here. This is how you access the whole website. And then you can monitor the logs in here in a CloudWatch once I start using Postman in a little bit. Most important, policy. You have to make sure go in here, set up all your policy correctly. So that's the annoying part is it's very restrictive. So make sure you get all the policies set up correctly. You get error, you go back and it will show you. Okay, so all right. So let's see. All right. So let's see where is. Oh yeah. So it went through and did all of this right here. So it's a lot of stuff that it went through. when you deploy it. That's why it's building all the gateway and everything that you saw, Dynamo, all that permission, all that. So it's doing that right here when I type in a command. It's going through, and yep, I put a debug flag, so it does it verbosely. So now it's done, and when it's done, it gives you, okay, we run just the command by itself without debugs. I'll show you what it shows. Okay, so I just did remove of the stack. Okay, so to show you from scratch, and for this account, for demo account, I have nothing left. Everything's blank with a clean slate. So then I try to deploy it, and it's gonna. Okay, so it's just finished, and based on the server right here, it had a post I created and the list you just saw me create just now. So we're gonna copy this and put it into here. Okay, notice this front part right here is gonna change. Okay, right here. So you run this, and it has nothing yet. But the front part right here, that's the only part that changed. So that's the only part you need to modify here, and you need to save. And same thing here. You need to save. I want to show you also the wasn't earlier, there was nothing there. So now it already have two. The list to create and the list that I just created. So if you go in here, it create the gateway in here. So here is the endpoint. So that there, so right there, listing is working. All right. So that code we just wrote, so that works. So over here, same thing. Let's see. Dev list task. Yep, so right there. So you can add additional one. That's a post, return a 1, and it's good. And that's the 10 we just added, and that's the other one. So let's take a look. So right here, so the stack is created, so it's good. So this one is good. Dynamo, so this is Dynamo table. So refresh. So you see that the Dynamo version 4 there, that matches my stack version 4 right here. Well, that's the name of the Dynamo. So so if I want a clean slate, I go version 3, version 4. So it would yeah. So we can explore some items in the table. So refresh. Yep, so here are the 3 items that we saw. So this one is the A306. That's the title 2. Oh, they are ending in 306. So this one it was C43. C43. Right there, title 2. So that's a title 2. Task number 2 title. All right. So all right. So let's go over. I already create the buckets. So the S3 bucket. So also right here, I tell it to use this S3 bucket. That's why I deploy my front end code. Okay. And I wrote just a very simple list to display a task. So right here, the code. So I'm not gonna write that live because it's just a simple task form. This is React. Let's see right here. Oops, don't touch that. So just a React piece of React code. I haven't used any library. You can use like material or Kendo, to display table and grid stuff like that. And here is the CSS. So basically, here's a getter setter for the task, for loading, and then is fetching. So I update with the correct URL right here. Oops, has to make sure you update this thing, because every time you redeploy it changes this, so you have to make sure that's correct. So it fetches the create task, same thing with a list task, and then it's going to iterate through the task, going to loop through the task, and you have a chance to check it off, done or not, delete or not, and then yeah, so it's gonna display the task. So let's run it, the code. So just like any React or Angular, you have no modules, so you have to run the npm install. Okay, and then do C5, which is what I use to sync up and put it in the bucket. That's how it does. Put the code in the bucket. So here is the bucket. Where's the bucket? Right here. It's in here somewhere. Oh, okay. Here's a picture of the bucket. So you go here, the bucket. So here's my bucket. Remember, this is match up to the name. I only have one, but if you be working on a typical big project, you have a bunch of bucket. So here's a bucket that I already specify in my serverless. So that's the bucket. All right. So so you go down to the bucket, and they already upload the code. So that's what the command I just ran. It puts it into the buckets. On my code I just wrote, the front end code, and then if you go into properties, and here is the URL. Okay, so here are the three that we have here, remember. So that's the three that we have here. All right, so yeah, and here is the CloudWatch. Last thing I want to show. So I ran the create, I ran list. So remember, this is version 3, is not what the different project I ran. Remember, I put up the version 4 here. Okay, so that makes it everything easy to track. So when you go on CloudWatch, you look for v4, that belong to the Lambda list and the Lambda create. So we ran the Lambda list, and that's the log right here. So you have any issue, errors, you go in here, you can do a console log. It will come out right here for the backend debugging. Front end debugging, front end debugging, you have a full blown, you know, all this good stuff to debug, breakpoint and watch all of that. So that's front end is pretty easy. All right. Yeah. So that's CloudWatch. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to show you. You can use Postman to test, make sure it's all working good. You can go straight to the dashboard, look at the Dynamo, and also use CloudWatch to catch your backend error. And then you do debugging the front end, and you sync to the S3 bucket. I don't have the picture of the bucket S3 bucket in here, but basically I ran a command. You saw that. Upload to yeah. So that's pretty much the entire simple single page application, end to end, front end, back end. Of course, you can need to glue in like authentications, SNS, SQS, streaming, and also yeah. So I'm using AWS to debug here to show the real deployment, but you can actually run a sudo local without even have an AWS connection here, or everything on your desktop without even internet connection. You can do test all of this. You can stub out and have a sudo gateway, and have a sudo Lambda and all of that, so that you can test everything local. So they do have support for that too, so you don't have to actually deploy on here. But yeah, so that's all I have. On the different demo, I will demo SNS, SQS, and yeah, other pieces, step function also. Okay, all right. Thank you. Bye bye.